Hello and welcome. In this video, we will learn some operations that can be performed on an array. Okay. Now, you know how to create an array, right? So let me quickly create one of int, and the name of the array is age, and the elements, let it be 23, 33, 43, 12 and 2. Alright. Now, see, this is an array of age. Okay. So there are 5 ages here, and we can do some operations on it. But what if I want to add an element to this array? How many elements are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are 5 elements in this array. But what if I want to add one more element to this array? Can I do that? So let me check it. So I'll say age, and I'll say, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to add one more element for the 5th index number. Okay. So I'll say 5. So I want to add an element to 5th index position, and let me say 35. So is it possible to do this? Is it possible? No, we cannot add an element like this to an array. This is not possible. Okay. Now, this is not practical too, meaning while programming, we cannot create an array like this, meaning we will not be knowing the element values while creating an array. Alright. So instead of creating an array like this, we follow a different step or different method. Okay. So what we do is we say int, alright, and then brackets and age, alright, or whatever the name you want to give for the array, and then we say is equal to new int and brackets. Alright. So this is how we create an array. We say int bracket and name of the array that you want to give, and we say new int and brackets. Alright. Brackets, square brackets. Inside the square brackets, we mention the number of elements that we want to have in the new blank array. Okay. So let me say 5. So what happens is, this creates a new array with 5 blank elements in it. Alright. So this is just like creating. So let me have it commented out. So this is similar to creating int age equal to and 0, 0, 0, 0 and 0. Alright. So this creates this. Okay. So this is equal to this. This is what it creates. Alright. Now you can add elements to this. Okay. Now you can add elements to this. Adding in the sense replacing. Okay. Replacing this value by some value, this value by some value, this value by some value, and so on. So let me do that now. So I'll say age, and I want to replace the first 0 by 23. Okay. So 23. So age 0. What is 0? Index number, and 23. Alright. So what happens is, in this array of age, the first value will be 23. Rest will be 0. So I want second element to be 12. Alright, second element has one index number 12. So we will have an array which is 23, 12, 0, 0, 0. And in the same way, you can go on adding or go on modifying the elements of this array. Okay, so this is how we do it. We create a blank array. We create a blank array by saying new and the data type along with the number of elements that you want to have in the array, and then go on replacing the values. Alright, so as you do a project, as you work on a project, this will come naturally to you. Alright, now let us see some operations that can be performed on an array. Okay, so I'm going to create an array of double data type. Alright, and I'm going to name it as temperature, and inside I will be storing -3, -4.0, 5, 21.3, -4 and 2.4. Alright, now I have an array of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 elements. Okay, so here you can see I have an integer value as element of this array of double type. Even though I have an integer, it will be stored as double value, or it will be stored as -3.0. So let us check it out. I'll say system dot out println, and here temperature, and let me say 0. Okay, and let me end it with this, and let me run to get -3.0. So you can see that even though I have typed an integer value, it will be stored as double value here. Okay, now let me delete this. So I have a set of temperatures here. Let me have a for loop. I'll say for, you know how to use for loop. I'll say int, for int I equal to 0. Okay, I less than temperature dot length. Okay, temperature dot length. So you know about this, I'm not going to explain once again. Temperature dot length I plus plus. Alright, I plus plus. And then what I want to do is I want to check if the temperature is positive or negative. Okay, if the temperature is positive, then I want to print it out. If it is negative, then I want to neglect it. Okay, so let me have an if condition here. So if, so how can we check it? Temperature and I. Okay, so we have to check one by one, correct, where I is equal to index number. If temperature I greater than 0, we are checking if the value is greater than 0, then system dot out println. Okay, I want to print it out. So temperature and I. Okay, temperature and I. So that's all. Alright, so let us run it and see the output. Yeah, so 5, 21.3 and 2.4 are the result that I have, meaning, or what I have here is the positive numbers. Okay, so what happens here is every single time for every value of the array meaning every element of this array, it is checked whether the value is greater than 0. When it is greater than 0, it is printed out. And I have not written any else condition. So, if the temperature is not greater than 0, it will be neglected. Okay, it will be neglected. So, you can have conditions like this, or you can perform conditions, you can perform operations like this on an array. Alright. Now, let us modify this. Let us say that we want to count the number of values that are positive. Okay. So, now it is a small array which has 6 elements. So, here you can count the values directly 1, 2, 3. There are 3 positive values. But when the array becomes bigger, it will be difficult for you to count whatever you are trying to count. Okay. So, at that time, whatever you are going to learn now will be helpful. Okay. Now, I want to count the number of positive values. Alright. So, what can we do? Let me create a variable by the name count and set it to 0. Okay. So, I have created a variable by the name count and I have set the value to 0. Okay. So, here this if condition executes or comes this condition comes out as true only when the value is positive, correct? So, this will be true when the temperature is positive, and that is what we are trying to count, correct? How many positive values are there in this array? So, what we want here inside this if condition is count equal to count plus 1. Okay, count equal to count plus 1. And now I want to print it out. So, I will say system dot out dot println, and here I will say number of positive values, and here I will say count. Okay, here I will say count. Alright. So, now let me check if it works. So, here you can see number of positive values 0, number of positive values 0. So, this is happening every single time, but we do not want this because it is inside for loop. So, we are getting this every time. So, let me cut it and let me paste it outside the for loop. Okay, outside the for loop, and now let me run it, and you can see number of positive values 3. So, previously what was happening is for every iteration this was being printed out. So, I pasted it outside the for loop. Okay. So, now see what is happening here. If the temperature value is greater than 0, then it is positive. So, it will be printed. Okay, it will be printed and count will be updated. So, what is the initial value of count? It is 0. So, when this comes out as true for the first time, so 0 plus 1 will be 1. So, the new value of count will be 1. When this becomes true once again, this will be 1 plus 1, 2. So, the new value of count will be 2. When this becomes true once again, this will be 2 plus 1, 3. And the new value of count will be 3. And at the end, after all the values are iterated by the for loop, the total number of positive values will be printed out. Okay, total number of positive values will be printed out. Alright, yes. So this was basic introduction for the operations that can be performed on an array. Alright, there are much more things that can be done on an array, but as you are a beginner, I think this is enough for now. Okay, now I have an exercise for you. I want the average of these values. Okay, I want the average of these values. Alright, I want to print it out here. So pause the screen and go ahead and try it out. I'll be showing you the solution in a few seconds. Alright? Alright. So here is the solution for the exercise. I have created a variable by the name sum and assigned the value 0 to it. And sum is of double type. Inside the for loop and outside the if condition, I have written this. Okay, sum equal to sum plus temperature. Why is it outside if? Because I want to add all the values, not just positive values, correct? So what is this if condition for? This is to check if the element is positive or not. I do not want to add just positive element here for finding out average. I want all, and so it is outside if. Okay, so sum equal to sum plus temperature I. Now this is done, and here I have one more variable by the name average. Okay, I have declared one more variable by the name average, and in this I am storing the value that I get when I divide sum, finally sum divided sum by temperature length. Okay, length of this. So how much is it? 6. Okay, so total sum divided by 6 is the average. Alright, and that is what I am printing it out here. Okay, so I have got this result. So if you have done it in a different way, then it is wonderful. Alright, yes. So that's it for this video. Go ahead and practice the things that we have learnt in this video. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care and thank you for watching.